Happy Saturday! So we are back for another session in this journal. I am just, oh boy, I have so much fun with this, and like the further you go and the thicker it gets and you flip back and look at stuff, oh, this is just such an inspiration. When you just want to sit down, you know, look for some inspiration in your studio, you know, have your beverage of choice, and you flip through your journal, you're going to have so much fun with this. So we are back to get going on these next pages, but I wanted to do a little sort of housekeeping, like they say. A few things. I wanted to talk about journal pages, and I wanted to talk about this paper because I know I was asked about this paper, and I'm still trying to hunt it down. I tell you, I got it on AliExpress, and I've purchased it a couple of different times over the years, and so I normally buy several packs at a time, but this is the hardest thing to even go back and find. It seems like it's never in my saved purchases. It seems like if I purchased it, you know, a good while ago, they drop off or something. So I'm still going to try to track it down. And when I do, I will give you guys the link. If anybody happens to find it before I can find it, please just put, you know, you can send a link to me at info@robinmcclendon.com, and then I'll make sure that I share it out in the group because it really is neat paper, and it's not that much for a pack. It's like a couple dollars or something like for it, and I think it's, I don't know, there might be 30 sheets in here or something. So anyway, I am going to use a little bit of this today, but just to let you know, I am trying to find that. Now, as far as ledger paper, I got to thinking after last week how I know it can be a little frustrating if you can't get out to find these vintage books, because it's not like these ledger books are everywhere, number one. And if you can luck up and stumble upon them, or if you spend enough time online and you come across one that's not ridiculously priced, they've just gotten to be, you know, ridiculous, you know, $80, $100, all of this. I mean, you know, I'm not saying they're not worth it if you want to spend the money on it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that that's not something everybody can spend money on. And I think that in many ways they're just being overpriced. With that said, I have a few suggestions. First suggestion is that you can get a new journal book. This is brand new journal from Amazon. And this one has 300 pages. You can get them with 150 pages. You can get them with 500 pages. But I put a link below the video, and I found one that was 500 pages for only like $22, which was really, really a good price because it's a lot of paper in here. You can use it to make pages in your book. You can use it to, I love doing mark making on these pages and then staining them like we like to do, and then still having those lines underneath. So, you know, you can literally just think of it as a pack of paper. But it has the numbers on it. It has the lines. So there is a link for this one below. And all, you know, you can also comb your local thrift stores, because a lot of times people give away these newer ones, and, you know, you can get them for a couple of dollars also. So either, if that's your thing, then really just spend time combing in the office section of your thrift stores. Just hit them all in your area. If it's not, then you can hit the link and go online to Amazon and purchase this one. And, you know, you get lots of pages. I would try to grab that one for 500 pages because it's really a good price for the $22 or whatever it is. Because sometimes they're as much as $40-something new. So that link is a really good price. So yeah, that's one, you know, there's a couple of ideas. The other thing is that you can get these pads that have the accounting, you know, columns in, like this one. This one is a pad by National Brand. I just tore a few sheets out. You can also find these at the thrift store. It's amazing what you can find in the office furniture office supply section. But you can also buy these new, and I'll put a link for these as well. It's not that much, these pads. They're fairly expensive. But they kind of have this green tone to the paper, which I like. And when you stain it with coffee or tea, and then do mark making things on it, it really gives it an old world look. So if you take some of the techniques to make things look vintage that I've shown in other videos, you can literally get these papers and make them look old. So I just wanted to kind of give you a couple of quick suggestions for things so that you don't have to feel like, oh, I can't get a ledger like that book Robin had, and you know, I really want a similar look. Just get them new. Also, I wanted to show you, I'm going to be using some more tracing paper today, but I wanted to show you what paper I'm using. It's a very thin paper. I actually got this at that Five and Below store. Everything is $5 or below. And I think this pad was $3 or something like that. It has 80 sheets. It is a 32 pound or 53 GSM, if you want to know the weight of the paper. So it's thin paper, but it really does color nicely, and you get a nice texture with it. And when you do the staining on it, it really does a nice thing. So I thought I would do a quick staining on these papers, because I know I wanted to use this one for sure, because here again I have this, and I'm going to cover it with some stained tracing paper, probably make some translucent pockets, and then we're going to do some stuff over here. I think I'm going to pull out my box of just scrap pieces, and then just do some intuitive collaging on this side, since we have just a nice blank sheet. I think that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm probably going to pull a little bit of this in from, you know, last time. So, let's get started. Let me see, make sure I have everything here. I think I do. Okay, we're back on the table. I had to grab some of my my coffee because I want to do a little coffee staining. So put this to the side. And we'll do it right here on the desk, because you know how I love to stain right here on my table, and you know, using the coffee. And oh, I'm out of I want to put a little plastic down. I'll just use a Amazon bag that came in with the book that I purchased. Nothing like repurposing. There. Nice surface. That's a good use for these things. When you get them in, hold on to them and use them as a surface to do your staining on. And they hold up, so you could fold it up and use it again. Okay. So what I want to do here is, it's good to do this now so it can dry while we work on other things. This is the coffee that, you know, I keep at my desk. But it never goes bad because I put the alcohol in it. So I'm just going to drop a few little drops, because I just want a little bit of brown on here, because I'm going to be using the blue spray. I just want a little bit of brown, and I think I'm going to use this paper here. Because I wanted to get this staining on it too. And now I'm just going to use this blue, you know, the woad. It's funny because this really starts rolling up when you go to start staining it. Just kind of blend it together a little bit here. Just kind of get this on the edges. And I'm just kind of doing a real light bit of staining. Still want to see through it, but I want to get the real wrinkled, crinkled, you know, thing that that tracing paper does so well. And the thicker the tracing paper, the more stiff and crinkly it gets, which is nice. So you can just kind of play with the different weights as well. Okay, I think that's pretty good. See if I can just get just a few drops. Okay, so let's do something on this one. And then we're just going to let it sit here. And so yeah, we'll let these dry because I just want it to be a nice little translucent background to work with. And just that little subtle coffee in there just gives a little bit of brown without making it too intense. So we'll let these dry and I'll be back. Alrighty, so we are back and the papers are dry. So you see how they just crinkle up nicely and get an old look to them. I did spritz it after I turned the camera off with a little bit of the �𝐳 in the pearl. But you can really kind of appreciate how this paper, it's a very light color. You can almost sort of see how I can see through it a bit. And it's just, I really like it a lot. So, you know, don't sweat it, but if we can find it, it's worth grabbing. And then this is the way that just the simple tracing paper, it looks better if you can see. Just spritzing it with a little bit of the coffee and then that 𝐜𝐧𝐝, you know, or 𝐜𝐧𝐝, whichever way it's pronounced. So yeah, and just a little spotting and everything. It just really is gorgeous, but yet it's still nice and translucent. So it's a couple of quick, easy ways with some very, well, this is inexpensive. Once you find it, it's really cheap to use. This tracing paper you can find everywhere, and it's just a wonderful way to get a lot of different type of mark-made papers that are translucent papers. So I grabbed this box. I haven't used this, I haven't gone in here for a while. I haven't put anything in it for a while, and I haven't been in it for a while. So I'm hoping that I'll find some real inspirational things in here to work with on these pages already. Okay, this is good. It's already torn. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of go through it quickly and just kind of pull some things out. So that's what I'll do. I'll go into my sort of, just kind of randomly go into your bins of scrap papers and just kind of pull out what catches the eye. And a lot of these are just jelly printed, you know, bits and bobs. Just gonna grab some things. So that gold is nice. This gold. See, I have some napkins in here that I've used before. Like this. This is some of the Joss paper when I cut the gold out, but I still like what's around it, and it gives a nice stained look. So I'll grab some of that. And then here's just some mark making. Let's grab it. And I do have another scrap bin, so kind of go in here. It's time for me to really clear it out too. Oh, you know what I have in here too that'd be kind of cool to pull out are some of my washi taped, jelly printed washi tapes. So like I'll pull a lot of the rich buildup of paint off of the plate on this double-sided tape. Yeah, let's pull that out. Let's see. I haven't used that in a while because I haven't been in this box. Really is pretty. Okay. I think I've got enough stuff pulled out to get started. Okay. So I want to start with this side here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of rip pieces and start gluing them down. I want to kind of come over in here like that, and then we'll rip this here. So I'm just going to kind of go, you know, as always, just kind of want to get sections down first. See how pretty that would be, just to kind of, and leave some of the bottom, but I think I'm going to be making pockets, so I'm going to cover that. But you can see how just using something like this, get my glue stick, how nice it is just to kind of create these translucent layers. So don't forget about that tracing paper. And you can, all the techniques that we've been doing in the past, mark making techniques, every single one of them you can do on tracing paper. And it just will give you a different effect. You know, some of the same techniques, but it'll give you a different effect because the paper is different. And so it just allows for you to layer with maybe some of the same imagery or similar kind of color palette. And at the same time, you know, you're really creating something quite a bit different. See how that goes down so we can still see what's underneath it? But it just gives it another really neat layer. And to me, making things have this aged look is all about, I'm going to keep my gold here, so I'm going to work around. I'm just going to like even do a little patching. I can put that down right there and kind of overlap it. I like that. So let's go ahead and put this down. Yeah, so just, it's amazing how changing a paper will change the way a technique looks. Okay, we like. And then we're going to put this down. So I think what I want to do here is I did want to make, I'm going to put it down, and then we'll worry about, make sure I get the, then I'll think about which side is the side to put down. Yeah. Then I'll think about what I'm going to do about the pocket. I think I'll just make another layer. Because also putting this down makes the paper stronger too. So since I had this book on this back side, and the paper that this is just copy paper, so it's not like really a particularly strong paper or anything. And the weight of that book over time could start wearing on the pages. So I wanted, so part of my design choices is also about making the paper stronger, but I didn't want to, you know, cover it up and lose all of that the image underneath, because I really like this. And why cover it up, right? Especially when we can work with it by creating layers and what have you. We can just make it look interesting, and at the same time that thin layer of tracing paper has really gone a long way towards strengthening this page and also giving texture to it too. So it's just going to make it a lot stronger with this flip out there. Love it. So I think what I want to do is do want to add some of this. I don't know what side I want to add it to. Might do it. So I am thinking about putting a pocket. But I feel like I have to double it so that it's strong enough to use. So I think I'm going to take my paper here. So, you know, just about like that would be good. So let's just double this. I'm going to take it, fold it in half. Just doing different things with, you know, that same little sheet of paper. Trying to decide if I want to, I know what I'll do. Right there. So we'll make the pocket stop right about there. That's a good place for it to stop. And let's just go ahead and rip this. So by doubling it, it makes it just that much thicker. And I'm going to, you know, with the folded edge, that's going to be our top. And so that's just going to allow that pocket to be used and, you know, and not tear. So what we're going to do is I'm going to glue it shut to make it stronger. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Doubled, it's pretty too. You just sort of see through the layers. Okay, so we can put this right here. Okay, so that's going to go in place there. I like that. That page just looks so gorgeous. Oh. So my thing is, as you're probably beginning to really understand here, is I'm just going to make this edge be a little torn. It doesn't look so, you know, kind of perfect against. Yeah, I kind of like that. We're going to use our PVA, the glitter glue PVA, to make our pocket. This always just gets such a good bond. Just make a little narrow strip of glue. Okay. I really like how this paper crinkles. It just really gets a nice feel to it. And it's something about when it crinkles, you know, with the water, it wetting it, it seems like it makes it stronger. Okay. Let's take a look at all of this in place. Okay, perfect. So now we have ourselves a pocket. We'll figure out, you know, as time goes, and see what's nice about it is that it's translucent, so whatever we put in there, we're going to be able to see. So it's already. So let's move to this side. Just kind of start gluing. I know I want to use this piece that we created. Maybe, oh, that could look good. I'm starting to warm my palette up so that as I kind of go to that next page, I can start moving in even to some maybe of the, you know, more color. So I have a tendency to transition in my books. As I want to warm my pages up, I think about it in the pages before. That way it's like a smooth, sort of subtle transition in the book. It's not like just jumping all over the place. I'll put this down. So I'm just going to kind of collage some pieces in place. Oh, we like that bit of gold. So we can kind of start moving stuff. That's kind of nice. Maybe do this as a kind of as a as a strip or something like that there. I like that. So we'll get bits of that. And I still am not giving up on using some of that okay, let's go about figuring this out. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this strip down first. But what I like to do is just kind of get sort of a torn edge, just so that it's not that flat edge laying there. So we're just going to kind of see how this collage comes together. And while we're junk journaling. And for me, junk journaling always was about using the things in my studio that I didn't want to throw away, but there really weren't a whole lot of other uses for them. You know, you use them in collage pieces, and sometimes the pieces get so small and they're beautiful, but you don't really want to get rid of them. And that was the birth of the Gelli JunkAdori. It's the idea of, you know, taking things that you already have and reusing these small bits and pieces in new ways that just, you know, bring them back to life. And at the same time, I want to use that little pieces. You're bringing them back to life, and yet, oh, maybe this here. That is pretty like that. And then this will come over top. I'm going to rip some of that so it's not a straight edge there. Okay, so let's just rip some of this first. And so that was, you know, my whole relationship to junk. You know, I don't think that it has to be things that, you know, that came in the mail and, you know, you otherwise would have thrown away. And I mean, that definitely is some of it. I mean, I know I'll save envelopes, and sometimes there's ephemera and stuff that comes in and I'm like, oh, this would be really cool in my journal. But I don't hold to this tight thing of it's got to be stuff that you'd put in the trash. And I've heard other, you know, people who have channels that, you know, have done junk journals, and they really get very rigid and very strict about this idea that it's got to be stuff that, you know, you threw away. And I don't really see why it has to be things that you wouldn't normally throw away. It could be things that you don't want to throw away, but can't think of another use for them, like all our scraps of little bits and bitty pieces that you're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to get rid of them. So the Gelli JunkAdori was born out of my desire to reuse a lot of these, and then kind of do a style of I'm right over here just gluing things. I'm sorry if I'm off camera a bit. And also, you know, just having this relationship to taking all these little bits and pieces that otherwise would be thrown away, or, you know, or things that do come in the mail that you want to keep in, be thrown away, and turn it into like this beautiful visual journal, you know, something that is just, it's like synergistic. It's like synergy, right? It's, you know, the sum is greater than, you know, than the total of its parts, right? And so, oh, I love this. Put that down. So to me, that's how we got to the Gelli JunkAdori. And I love the Traveler's Notebook style book. I found it was a good book to travel. This kind of journal, you can go and you can take it on when you're traveling, you know, when you just are doing even a weekend, you know, vacation getaway with the family. It also travels to the TV room very nicely. So if the family wants you to hang out and spend time, and maybe it's a movie you've already seen, or maybe you're not all that interested in it, but you do want to spend time with the family, this is a good journal because it's small, it's compact. You can take your glue stick and your little bits and pieces, and you can sit down and have fun journaling without it being, you know, like hard to do. So all of those were like a part of what went into, I'm going to take this little piece here, this style journaling. And then to really be able to infuse it with, you know, an aesthetic like our Cabinet of Curiosities, the idea of wabi-sabi, you know, practicing these aesthetics of Japanese art where, you know, we're also going to focus on things outside of what a lot of times Western art has you focusing on. Things being pretty. Is it, you know, done perfectly, you know, and, you know, all these feelings about that kind of stuff. So, had some black there on my hand that transferred. I think it must have come off of here. Where did it come from? I think it came off of that. Okay, so I don't think I have let me just spritz my hands. My baby wipes, but. So let's clean that off. All right. So yeah, that was what, you know, was the impetus for this journal. If you've found yourself maybe wondering, oh, this is so good. Let's just get a bit of that. And certainly with our current theme of the Cabinet of Curiosities, oh my goodness, this is just going to be our book of curiosities. All the good stuff that's going to get in here. And I think it really encourages you to even think differently. I know for me, you know, like on walks and all those little bits and pieces that you know, you love to pick up, and maybe you said, I really need another leaf or another feather or whatever. But now, you know, it can find its place in your little book of curiosities here. And so it can become also a, you know, a reflection of your year of walks and, you know, things that you may do, you know, your nature You know, the times you spend in nature can be recorded in the book here too. In the space of, you know, using found objects and what have you. I like that. Extra little bit right there. So let's see. Now I'm gonna figure out where I want to put some of that tape in here for sure. So I need to washi tape. I know I have a video. I don't know if I have it on YouTube. No, I have it on Patreon where we've done this. Well, this is really looking neat. Just a neat little collage. Oh, I love it. And it's really nice, you know, opposite this page. I'm holding on to this little piece. It's gold on both sides. I don't want to glue it down, but I can see that it could end up being a tuck or something. So I always like, when I have little pieces like that I want to hold on to, I start sticking them in my pockets so that I know where they are, and when I want to use them, I have it. Okay, so let's look here. I think like this piece would be good. Maybe just using a little bit of it, because what's amazing is you just get this paint. A little bit of, you know, right there, it would really work nicely. And you can see that it's really textured because see how the acrylic paint was pretty thick, and so it's kind of like hanging off the edge of the tape. So it's really like catching these little bits of paint. Let me see if I can I rip it? Yeah, because I want more of a torn edge. It's like grabbing these little bits of paint that came off the jelly plate, and then when you're putting them down with this double-sided tape, it's really like you're transferring all that rich texture from your jelly plate right onto your page. It's like, when I first did this, I was like, oh my God, Eureka, because it's like that painted surface is on the plate. It's really built up with a lot of color, and you're not going to necessarily be able to get that on a piece of paper because it's on the plate, you know. So yeah, that's when I started doing that. It was like, oh, the best. I don't really want to lose those pieces of paint, so what I do is I will use some glue. Just use some of this, get some of our Giotto on that edge so that when I go to lay this down, that'll lay down too. See, it's on this double-sided tape. So it's very, very thin. You see how thin that is? Let's take that off. Glad I went in that box. See, I would have forgotten. I would be looking for those and think, where did I put them? So I'll show you. So see how that's just like this. I'll let it focus. It's like that, just a really rich jelly printed surface. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Yummy. Love it. Okay, so I love that there. And I think what I want to do, and that is acrylic paint, so that part's good. So I think what I want to do is, let me grab my Signo pen. Let's just see. If I can get this. This is the white, which I really like. It's not, it's white, but I mean, I need a little bit more color in it. I don't want to, so I want to do some scripting right down this. So let me get the pen working. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I got my Posca pen, and this is an ivory, which is a really pretty color. So I'm gonna do some scripting. Just to kind of give it that, sort of just kind of mimic a little bit of what's going on over there. That's looking good. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. So let's do okay. I really like that. So I think I'm going to stop there because I like the way that is fleshed out. So we have this pretty paper right here that we just made. We are going to find this paper. You guys help me. I'm going to lift the pack up again. It says 𝐚𝐥𝐬𝐻𝐼 on the package, if you can see it, and that's all that's on there, and then the rest is in I think that might be Korean, and it comes in a package like this, and you get a nice amount of sheets in here. You see, you get a good amount, and I think they're no more than a couple dollars this pack. So let's see if we can find these, because you guys are really going to enjoy using these in this journal, because as you can see, I got a really nice old look, just staining it just a little bit. It has a hand to it. It still maintains those little stripes. So the paper has like this striping in it, and I don't know if I can get you to see it, but you can still see it on here. When it's juiced, it takes the stains, it takes paints and inks really nicely. So that, along with some tissue, with your tracing paper, and just pull out your bits and bobs, and look how good that looks. And I didn't even use gold, although there is a little bit of gold. Well, it is a little bit of gold right there too. So there we have it. Oh, I'm excited. I really like the way this page came together, because you never know when you go in and just pull a bunch of stuff out of a box. You're like, okay. But this is the best type of junk journaling, isn't it? And we just keep on, we're just going to keep on finding all of our treasures, and all of our treasures will come together in our journals. And I know you guys are going to want to know how to do this. I'm going to try to see if I can find that video, but it's definitely double-sided tape. You're just taking your double-sided tape, and when your plate is full of paint, you know how you just have a whole layer, let it dry. It has to be dry, but you can see how many layers from when I was printing that particular time, and I stopped. So it was a lot of layers there, and I just said, okay, I'm gonna pull them. So I let them dry, the plate dry really well, like overnight, and then come back and lay this double-sided tape down. This actually is score tape. So you guys who, you may already have some score tape, I'll put the link for the score tape, but it's score tape, which is really uber sticky. And then you lay that down, and you just pull it right up. You lay it down. I'll take something like my bone folder, and I'll burnish the back of it, or you can take a credit card, really burnish it, and then when you lift it up, it will pull the paint off of the plate. So play with that. That's exactly how I made these. And you'll have success with it. You might have to try a few times, but it really was just that simple how I did them. In case I can't find that video, I don't want you not to figure out how did she do that? You want to do those, because it really will add nicely throughout the book as we go through, just being able to have these little bits and bobs of paint, and yeah, just to add to what we're doing. Alrighty, well, once again, as always, I've enjoyed hanging out with you all. This has been so much fun. I just get so excited. And you see, we can just go in so many different directions. You know, we'll just, you know, go in so many different directions here in what we're going to be doing. So, let's see. So if you enjoyed the video, please thumb it up. If it's your first time here, hit that bell and hit the all so that you get the notifications. Let's keep on hanging out here when the videos premiere. It's a lot of fun. Love your comments, love the feedback, and it really inspires me during the week to think about things that we're doing together when I just hear a lot of your comments. And, you know, some of your comments send me off in new directions of research and, you know, idea searching as well. So, love it all. Take care. Have a wonderful Saturday. And until next week, love you guys and happy creating. Bye-bye.